how do you get publicity for a book that you publish?
This video is brought to you by OppiPies Academy.
Well, you have to kind of be creative for a book that this is a self-published book, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I guess self-published is a dirty word, right?
No, it's not. It's not. You know, there's been a lot of great books that are self-published, a lot of great authors who started out being self-published. John Grisham, big-time best-selling author, he was self-published. I'm trying to think. Jack Canfield did several books that were self-published. Who else? The guy who did the 1 Minute Manager. Ken Blanchard.
No.
Self-published. So self-published doesn't mean anything in today's marketplace. It really depends on how you're going to use that book. So, for example, if I was going to write a book, the way to become a best-selling author is not after you write the book, but before you write the book. So, for instance, right now, if you wanted to get great publicity for your book, and let me ask you, Alex, why do you want publicity for your book? What's your objective?
Sales.
Okay, perfect. So, I just wanted to make sure. So, the easiest thing that you can do is you can align yourself with other people to help promote your book. And so, for example, right now one of my clients is getting ready to do not just a book launch, not even a bestseller book launch, but her goal is to become a New York Times best-selling author. So you can do this before the book or after the book. I think before the book is better, but you can still do it now. It's not too late. So here's the deal. You contact a bunch of partners. And how did you get these partners? Oh, by the way, you already interviewed them. Okay? So if you had, let's say that you had interviewed 100 people, you know, over a course of a couple of months, how many of them would be so grateful that they would be willing to promote your book?
Right. Many of them, yeah.
Many of them. Let's say, you know, let's say it's 20 or 30 or whatever. But so again, I want to remind you that you want to interview the people that you want to do business with. So, for instance, I wanted to get people to promote my books and my products. So guess what? I started interviewing people with big lists, affiliate managers, big companies that could help promote me. So then we have a landing page for Bert's new book, or in this case, Alex's book. And if you buy my book today, I'm going to give you a 10-minute radio interview on Money for Lunch. It's a $300 value. I'm going, you know, and plus my good friend so-and-so, he's going to give you some bonuses. And so if you buy my book today, these 10 people are going to give you free bonuses. All right, so they're going to give you $1,000 worth of free bonuses if you get my book today. Now, those 10 people or those 20 people, they're going to get commission if they help sell a book of yours. Would you mind, Alex, if I sold a bunch of books for you, would you mind giving me a commission?
No, of course not. I will welcome it.
Right. So now you're going to get those 10 or 20 people, maybe it's 30 people, whatever, to promote your book. Not to promote your book, but to promote your book launch party. And so they're going to send everybody to your website that you have specially made for this book, and they're using a special affiliate link that we can talk about another time, but they're going to use an affiliate code, and every time somebody makes a sale, you're going to give them commission. And so you could literally sell 1,000 or 5,000 books in just a few hours. I've done it multiple times. I think I'm a 3 or 4 or 5 time best-selling author. And so that's the way, that's called the bestseller launch formula, by the way. And just about everybody who's ever sold a book has used that formula to go from 0 to best-selling author like that.
That's so smart, because it's really so smart, because, you know, I've literally been listening to a lot of interviews of like people who sell on Amazon and whatever, and like, how did you do it? Well, you know, I don't know. That's how they did it.
That's exactly how they did it. But, you know, that's part of the secret is to say, well, you know what, I'm very humble and I'm very grateful that so many people love my book and I'm, you know, I'm so honored to be a best-selling author. Meanwhile, they're not going to tell you the formula because it doesn't make them look as cool. I just let you know something that a lot of people don't know. Now, I tell you what, here's another question I have for you, Alex, and for everybody on today's show, on today's program. Would you like to have a best-selling book that makes you a guaranteed $10,000 minimum every time you write a book?
Yes.
Would you like me to share with you the formula for this?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, back to what we've been talking about is, remember how we are going to interview people, and because we're interviewing these people, they're going to get to know, like, and trust us?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that over the course of 3 months, you interviewed 30 people on the subject of SEO. So now you're going to write a book called, you know, the new tricks of SEO, or how to rank your business on Google in 3 easy steps.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that one. Sounds better. So now you're going to go to those same 30 or 40 people that you interviewed and say, hey, would you like to write a chapter in my book? What are they going to say?
I'm busy. Some of them will say okay.
That's right. Now, here's the catch. If you want to write a chapter in my book, because it's going to be a bestseller, it's going to be a best-selling book, I got to pay for the advertising to get the best-selling book. And if you become a best-selling author, it's going to give you a lot of credibility. So I got to charge you $900 to write a chapter in my book. So let's say out of those 30, only 10 people decide to write a chapter for you. That's $9,000. I promised you 10. So let's say that, you know, whatever. So, but you see the formula here.
Yeah.
So let me show you something. This is an old copy of Chicken Soup for the Soul. They did that. Okay, now this is the original, so they didn't do it in this one, okay? But later on, when they went for Chicken Soup of the Soul this is for Chicken Soup of the Soul for America, the Chicken Soup for a mom soul, a Chicken Soup for a teenager soul, they got other authors to pay them money to write some of these books, and they're off and running. So not only are you a best-selling author, not only are those 10 or 20 people going to promote the heck out of that book because they all have a vested interest in becoming best-selling authors, but they paid you for that privilege. And so now you're a best-selling author, you've written a book, and you got paid 10 grand to do it, or 5 grand to do it, how much, depending on how much you want to get paid. Maybe you do the first one for just $3,000 and charge $300 a person. But you're up and running. And let me tell you, if you did that 2 or 3 times a year, it's not bad cash. Also, it helps. Their books are great lead magnets. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is my latest best-selling book. And so this lady, Vicky, the way Vicky found me, I think she found me because I was doing a speaking engagement. And so I interviewed Joe. He's a good friend of mine. I interviewed Vicky. Who else is on here? Morgana Ray. I've interviewed her. Anyway, these are a bunch of people that I've interviewed. They happen to be some of my friends. And I get to be on the cover of all these books, right? It didn't cost me a dime to be on the book. I'm also on the back cover of the book. She has... Vicky is the person who put this together. There's 45 different authors part of this book. You can see it's not very thick. on average, she got paid $500 to get people involved with Joe and I. So because Joe and I are part of this book, that's kind of the credibility clincher, right? And so people signed up. She made something like $30,000 off of this book.
Wow, very nice. Better than actually selling the book, because the book, you sell it and you get a little royalty, but this is really how you do it. Okay.
That's right. Well, this is one of the best ways to do it. And the important thing is books work magic because they're like little lead generators, right? If you look at these people who write books after books after books, again, Jack Canfield, Joe Vitale, what happens is these books help build SEO, they help build credibility, and every day somebody is finding you for the first time because of your book.
Yeah. This is really good stuff. I think this is gonna be like probably the most definitive answer ever on how to get like publicity for a book and how to do a book. This is fantastic.